So let us start the another theory class number 22, and in this class we are going to discuss about the antizymetics, cholagogues, cholerectics, rheumatoid drugs. So these all four are concerned to the digestive system, and we are also going to discuss about euthanizing agent along with the last one, that is the classification of hematinics. So these all we are going to discuss in this class. So let us start with the antizymotics. So first we have to go through the definition. So anti, as we know, is the opposite. This antizymotics, and this antizymotic is also sometimes called antifermentives. So name itself defining about the drug. So antizymotics are the drug which prevent or inhibit or decrease the fermentation as well as the gas formation in the stomach, and rumen is called antizymetics. So simply antizymetics are going to to lessen, to decrease, to check, to prevent, to inhibit the fermentation as well as the gas formation in the stomach, as well as the rumen is called antizymetics, or this is also sometimes called antifermentives. And what are the condition, particularly in animals, we have to use these antizymetics? So in case of Rodi blot, if the blot is there, then to treat a ruminal tympani, to treat a flatulent colic, the colic because of the flatulence in horse, and if you go through the human being, this antizymetics is one of the most used, mostly used for the therapy of the gas formation, particularly for the kids. And kids, they are crying. So at that time, we are going to give the drug in which one of the component belongs to the antizymetics. If you have seen the case of the animal and found that the gas is filled in the rumen, and that gas giving pressure over the diaphragm, and because of the pressurizing over the diaphragm, the animals are not going to respire properly. So immediate way to treat the animal, particularly the ruminants, after looking the rumen, you have to use the trocar and cannula, and therefore insert the at the left side of the rumen to remove the gases. And thereafter you have to start the drug in which one of the component is antizymetics. So let us start the drug under the antizymetics. In this we are using the volatile oil. I mean oil. Oils are usually going to reduce the fermentation as well as the gas formation in stomach and the rumen. And in this oil category, we have to use both volatile as well as the vegetable oil. So in case of volatile oil, most usable oil is turpentine oil, tarpin ka tel. And this turpentine oil we have to give to the animal through oral route, and usually this oil were isolated from the plants, we call it pines. The one of the example is Pinus palustris. And regarding vegetable oil is concerned, this is mostly used in the kitchen purpose. That is why this is called vegetable oil, because we are preparing the vegetable with this oil, and these oil are also helping in the removing the fermentation as well as the gas formation. And the oils are arachish oil, linseed oil, sunflower oil, and soybean oil. So as you know, the sunflower and soybean oil is most usable refined oil. So this is helping to remove the gases as well as the fermentation. Other than the oils, we may use formalin. Other than formalin, we also use the drug under the category other agent like phenol, cresol, lysol, chloral hydras, as well as some of the antibiotic like penicillin we have to use under the category other agent. And one of the most usable, particularly for the human being, and in case of flatulent colic, particularly in human being, particularly for the kid, one of the component in flatulent colic you will find simethicone. So simethicone is one of the most usable drug for the colic in case of kid, and this is nothing. This is siloxazone polymers which stabilized with the silicon dioxide. So we don't go through this much of a study of this particular drug trimethicone, and this is used to remove the gases, check the gas formation as well as the fermentation. This is non-toxic insoluble liquid, and this one is helps to collapse the bubbles of the gas by forming a thin layer on this bubble surface, and one of the effective anti-foaming agent. So simethicone is we have to use, and this simethicone we may use alone or along with the activated charcoal. So this is all about the antizymotic. Now we have to go through the cholagogues. The term, the word is derived from two Greek words. One is choli, another is agogene. Choli simply means bile, and agogene means to draw froth. So that cholagogue is the word particularly concerned to the bile. So we have to define this cholagogues. So what are the drug under this cholagogue, and what is the function of cholagogue? Cholagogue are the drug or the agent or the chemical which helps to promote the bile flow into intestine, and this is mainly through contraction of gallbladder is called cholagogues. So cholagogues are the drug which promote the bile flow by contracting the gallbladder into intestine is called cholagogues. So this is particularly help in the digestion of the fat, as well as this will help in the digestion of gallstone, particularly formed by the cholesterol. Regarding the drug is concerned, the best way to use the dietary fat as well as some concentrated, or you have to use concentrated magnesium sulfate. So concentrated magnesium sulfate, or you can say sodium sulfate, and the dietary fat you have to introduce directly into duodenum, and these stimulate the dietary fat as well as the magnesium sulfate concentrated that helps to release the cholecystokinin pancreozymin in the upper part of the small intestine and helping in the digestion of the fat. So the main function of the fat and the Maxelf is to helps to release the cholecystokinin pancreozymin, and which is the digestive things, and which helps to digest. Now we have to go through other than dietary fat and concentrated magnesium sulfate or sodium sulfate, cerulitide. So what is this cerulitide? Cerulitide is decapeptide, and this cerulitide as a cholagogue has been isolated from frog skin, particularly Australian frog skin, and the function is also quite similar to the function of dietary fat and magnesium sulfate. That means this cerulitide is helping to release the gastrin and cholecystokinin pancreozymin in the mammal, and this cerulitide is particularly helps to contract the gallbladder, and therefore this cerulitide is used to see the cholecystography. So by this means cholecystography, we have to judge the function of the gallbladder, whether the after this contracting the gallbladder, the passage, the pathway of the bile duct is proper or not, or whether it is blocked by the gallstone or not. Or not. So we have to go to perform the cholecystography. Now the other way that stimulate the gallbladder to contract, that is the vagal stimulation. And some of the drug that usually we are not going to use therapeutically, like the ammonium chloride, like the mercurous chloride, like the alloys, like the ipecacuanha, so these all are also used as a cholagogue. In addition to this is actually limited, we are not used therapeutically, so this is all about the cholagogues. So we have finished the antizymotic, we have finished the cholagogue. Now we have to go through the term cholaractics, and one more term is hydrocholaractics. So these two terms are quite similar, and we have to define this cholaractics and hydrocholaractics. So cholaractics are the drug or the agent that stimulate the liver cell hepatocyte to increase the formation of bile, and therefore increases the bile output, are called cholaractics. And what is hydrocholaractics? Are the drug which stimulate the hepatocyte or liver cell to increase the formation of bile secretion, and therefore increase the bile output, and the nature of the bile is possessing low specific gravity, is called hydrocholaractics. So only difference between the cholaractics and hydrocholaractics, biles are biles in case of hydrocholaractics possessing low specific gravity. As a hydrocholaractics, we have to use dehydrocholic acid. So dehydrocholic acid is a hydrocholaractics. Now we have to go through the other drug that use as a cholaractics, and the cholaractics are usually used to dilute the gallstone, and this gallstone is usually formed because of the cholesterol. So this is going to dilute the cholesterol. So the drug that we are going to use as a cholaractics are now the natural bile salt, also the partially synthetic derivative. So natural bile salt and this partially synthetic derivative of the bile salt, natural bile salt, we are using therapeutically as a cholaractics. Other than that, we are using the drug or the compound, the agent that should be used in human being as well as in the animal, small animal particularly, and the agent or the drug are ursodeoxycholic acid and chenodeoxycholic acid. So these two agents, the drug ursodeoxycholic acid and chenodeoxycholic acid, will helping to dilute the cholesterol which participating in the formation of gallstone. And this ursodeoxycholic acid is also called ursodiol, whereas chenodeoxycholic acid is called chenodiol. So these two are the cholaractics. And dehydrocholic acid is a hydrocholaractics. Other drug that we have to recall as a cholaractics are natural bile conjugate, that is the glycocolate and taurocolate. They are also cholaractics. Then other agent are fluorentyrone and tocamphile. So fluorentyrone and tocamphile are also cholaractics. Then oxobutyric acid derivative like clenobutene and methoxy naphthalene oxobutyric acid. This butyric acid derivative like clenobutene and methoxy naphthalene oxobutyric acid are of veterinary use as a choleractics, and the last one is the ox bile extract is also choleractics. So this is all about choleractics, cholagogue, antizymotic. Now we have to go through the other topic like ruminatoric drug, or the drug which we have to consider the rumen pharmacology, or the drug which modulate the function of rumen and reticulum. So the drug which modulate the ruminoreticular function. Now we have to go through the definition of rheumatoric. So rheumatoric are the drugs that are used to stimulate the rheumatoreticular contraction, and therefore it improve the digestion, or you can say it helps to improve the function of rumen. So the drug which improve the function of the rumen by stimulating the contraction of rumen and reticulum are called ruminatorics. Where we have to use this, in which condition we have to use? We have to use this drug when the rumen is peristaltic movement is very low, or ruminal stasis, or atony. So loss of tone of the rumen. In that case, we have to use the ruminatoric drug. Now we have to go through the classification of the drug under the ruminatoric. So I think under the classification of ruminatoric drug, these drugs are also we have to read in the stomachics, we have read also in the prokinetics. So in addition to that, we have to discuss. So under this and cholinergic agent. So these already we have discussed in the stomachic also, and also some of the drug we have also discussed in the prokinetic. So under the classification of ruminatoric, the first one is the cholinergic agent or cholinomimetic or parasympathomimetic drug. So that means these drugs that are going to stimulate the way in which there is promoting the function of neurotransmitter acetylcholine, and that means they are mimicking the action of acetylcholine neurotransmitter, or the drug which mimic the function of parasympathetic nervous system present in the GI tract. Particularly, the action of acetylcholine is over the smooth muscle of the musculature of the GI tract, like rumen and reticulum, and helps to contract it, and also helps in the digestion. Therefore, these drugs are cholinomimetic, and they generally the drug are going to mimic the action of neurotransmitter acetylcholine, or they are going to attach with the receptor of the acetylcholine, that is particularly the muscarinic receptor, and therefore they act similar to the action of acetylcholine neurotransmitter, and helps to contract the smooth muscle, and also going to helps to release the the digestive enzyme. So under this cholinergic agent, the drug may be the direct acting like choline esters, carbachol and bithanicol. So carbachol and bithanicol are called choline ester. They are the cholinomimetic drug, or cholinergic agonist. Next is the drug which prevent the destruction of neurotransmitter acetylcholine. So acetylcholine will prolong its action because acetylcholine has not been destroyed by the enzyme acetylcholine esterase. So the drug which inhibit the function of enzyme acetylcholinesterase, therefore the function of neurotransmitter acetylcholine get intact and producing the digestive function. And the drug under the acetylcholinesterase inhibitors are physostigmine and neostigmine. Other than that, we are using, that is also coming under the cholinergic agent, but they are isolated from the plant, so they are called plant alkaloid. So under the plant alkaloid that are also cholinomimetic, the second classification you may say it, are under these the drug, two drug mainly that are cholinomimetic also. The agent are pyrocarbene and ericoline. So pyrocarpine and ericoline are cholinomimetic drug but isolated from plant like Erica catechu and Pilocarpus microphyllus. So Erica catechu, from which we isolated ericoline, and Pilocarpine are isolated from plant Pilocarpus microphyllus. So these are the plant alkaloid, but they are cholinomimetic or parasympathomimetic. So you may keep this along with the first one, cholinomimetic agent. Now the third one under the classification of the rheumatoid drug is prokinetic, that we already discussed in the chapter prokinetics. So you have to go through the YouTube video prokinetics. Under this prokinetic classification, the drugs are 5-HT4 receptor agonists like cisapride, metoclopramide, D2 receptor antagonist are like the domperidone. Also you can say the metoclopramide, because they are acting on both the receptor, and motelide, which include erythromycin. So these all are about the prokinetic. So they are improving the function of the rumen and reticulum and helps to contract it. Now next is the benzodiazepine. This is very less or meager use in case of the cattle, particularly the diazepam. And diazepam sometimes stimulate the ruminal contraction, particularly for the cattle when we are administering through parenteral route IV or IM. So this is less usable benzodiazepines. Next is bitters. We in the stomachic, we already discussed about the bitters. Bitters are the agent, by its reflux action, by its bitterness, they are stimulating the release of the saliva and also the digestive enzyme, and therefore they help in the digestion. And these vegetable bitters are gentian, ginger, nux vomica. So these are stimulating the saliva secretion and therefore ruminal contraction and help in the improving the function of rumen and reticulum is called bitters. Now if you go through most of the rheumatoid agent as a bolus, you will find some of the agent that are mineral in nature. So next classification under the rheumatoid drug is mineral supplement. So what is the function of mineral supplement as a rheumatoid drug? They are actually act as a cofactor, and therefore these cofactors are actually helping in the microbial digestion, because microbes are going to ferment the fiber like cellulose. So microbial fermentation is microbial function is going to be improved when we are using the cofactor, that is the mineral supplement, particularly the minerals like cobalt, like iron, copper, manganese, zinc, calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, iodine, and sulfur. So these all are the mineral supplement, and these all are helping in the microbial fermentation, fermentive digestion. So this is very important. And one company, Natural Remedy, is going to produce the drug. We call it Cofecus. Co for cobalt, Fe for iron, and this Cofecu, Cu means copper. So this is the helping act as a rheumatoid drug, and also this is a good mineral supplement. Now we have to go through the other condition under the rheumatoid drug when the rheumatonic occur. So if there is alkali or basicity occur. So this basicity means कि if the pH of the rumen or reticulum or stomach normally is lies between the 6 to 7, 6 and 7, and when the pH rumen pH get increased above 7.5, so that increased pH is going to produce this become alkanization, and therefore for neutralizing the base we are using the drug that we call ruminal acidifying agent, because the rumen become basic when the pH get increased or more than 7.5, and for the acidifying agent we are using as a vinegar or acetic acid. So this is about the ruminal acidifying agent, and opposite to the this is the ruminal alkalizing agent. So when we have to use, when there is acidity in the rumen occur. So when there is acidity occur, usually when the pH should be less than 5, then we have to use the alkali or base, and this acidity occur because of grain engorgement, or when the animal take overfeed particularly of the grain or carbohydrate, then this is going to lead to the acidification, and therefore we have to use the base alkali. And we already gone through the antacid like soda bicarb, so we have to use soda bicarb. And also we have studied antacid like magnesium hydroxide, like aluminum hydroxide. So the agent under the ruminal alkalizing agent are magnesium hydroxide, magnesium oxide, aluminum hydroxide, aluminum carbonate, calcium carbonate, soda bicarb, sodium bicarbonate, calcium hydroxide, then magnesium hydroxide we already, then magnesium oxide, magnesium carbonate. So these we already discussed. Regarding the dose is concerned, so dose is here. So this is in between, usually 50 to 100 gram is the dose. About the magnesium carbonate and magnesium oxide, where magnesium oxide and magnesium carbonate, and magnesium hydroxide, this is the 100 to 300 gram by oral route. Now we have to go through the non-pharmacological way of treatment of rheumatoid, and that is not is coming under the actual drug, and and this is very much practiced for this treatment of the ruminal stasis. And the agent that we use for that is we have to use the ruminal content from the healthy animal from 5 to 10 liter, and we have to give to the animal which is diseased one. And other than that, water, saline, ringer solution, feed supplement. So this is all about the drug under the rheumatoid agent, and this is all about the classification of rheumatoid drug. Now we have to go through the euthanizing agent. So this is very important. So this word euthanizing agent, so is derived from the word is euthanasia. Euthanasia is derived from two Greek word, eu and thanasia. Eu matlab good, and thanasia means death, good death. So what is the meaning of the good death? Good death, if there is, when we are going to give the death to the animal, mercy way or human way death to the animal. When we have to perform this, when the animal is in dying condition, moribund condition, when the animal is disease, suffering from disease which is incurable like the cancer, when animal is suffering from unbelievable pain, at that time we have to kill the animal so that the animal will feel good. So this is the human way of killing of animal by giving the drug is called euthanasia or mercy killing, and this is painless death or quick and painless death. So this is very interesting. And if the sometime what happened, if the animals are suffering from the incurable disease or in moribund state, the owner is telling kill the animals by giving the drug. So at that time we have to use the drug to kill the animal. That is the human way of killing of the animal. Also nowadays we have to also gone through, this is also possible in the human, some of the country they follow it, so in human being also. So this is the drug that we are using, they are called the euthanizing agent. So when you have to go through the mechanism of the action of the drug, for the drug that we are using as a euthanizing agent for mercy killing of the animal, that the mechanism of action is mainly concerned to the three basic mode of action, and these three basic mode of action of the drug that we are using as a euthanizing agent are: the drug is going to produce hypoxia or hypoxemia. So what is this hypoxia? The drug is going to decrease the oxygen level in the tissue, is called hypoxia. And when this the same decrease in oxygen level in the blood is called hypoxemia. So the drug that are used as a euthanizing agent, the first mechanism of action, it may leads to the hypoxia, or you can say hypoxemia, or it may going to depress the CNS, central nervous system, some of the vital neuron depression, that going to lead the depression of vital neuron in the central nervous system, and therefore one of the cause of the death of the animal. And if other than the chemical, we are going to use the other means, physical means, so that is called the physical damage of the, particularly we have to damage the brain. So physical method of the damage of the brain, and therefore animal will die. So these three way of mechanism of action of the drug under the euthanizing agent. Now we have to go through the classification of the drug that are used as a euthanizing agent. So they are mainly the two type: the chemical method and the physical method. Under the chemical method, they again subdivided into two types based upon the administration way, that if you are inhalating the drug, this is called inhalant chemical agent, and when you are injecting the chemical, then it is called injectable chemical agent. Again, the inhalant as well as the injectable agent subdivided into two types. So in inhalant chemical agent, if the nature of the chemical agent, inhalant chemical agent, is gases, so inhalant gases, and if this inhalant is not gases, we are calling it inhalant anesthetic. And under this inhalant gases, under the chemical agent are carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and argon. So these all are inhalant gases. Under the inhalant anesthesia, I think you all are aware about the ether. So inhalant anesthesia, ether. Then halothane is also knowing, no, you all are knowing, and also knowing about the fluorines suffix like enfilo in enfilo fluorine, isoflurane, sevoflurane, desflurane, methoxyflurane. So these all are the inhalant anesthesia. So this is all about the inhalant agent. Now we have to go through the inhalant agent, injectable agent. Under the injectable agent, the again subdivided into two types: the barbiturate and miscellaneous agent. Under the barbiturate injectable agent, that is the barbiturate one. Under these, the drug are pentobarbital, thiopental, and methoxetal. So methoxetal, penobarbital, and thiopental, and mostly these barbiturates should be administered through intravenous route to produce the hypoxia and cause the death, and it may by parental administration. Under the miscellaneous agent that are very not much costly, the agent are magnesium sulfate and the potassium chloride that we have to use, that is under the miscellaneous agent and low cost. Other than that, the agent are chloral hydrate and the trichene so these all are the miscellaneous agent. Now we have to go through the physical method of the death of the animal. So physical method, I think you all are aware about that. In the physical method, the main purpose to damage the brain. So once the brain gets damaged, the animal will certainly die. So all the method under the physical method, the main purpose to destroy, to destruct to the brain, and therefore animal will die. Captive bolt, stun bolt, or bolt gun, in which they are going to strike the brain, and therefore this is going to damage the brain and animal will die. Gunshot, we are shooting the animal by using the gun. So gunshot or shooting, and of course this is going to damage the brain. And now the cervical dislocation, that we are separating the connection between the skull and the brain from the spinal cord is called cervical dislocation. We are also removing the head, so decapitation. We are also applying the electricity on the brain, electrocution. We are also removing the blood slowly, so removing the draining out the blood is exsanguinations. Then microwave irradiation, then maceration, and this is stunning and pitching is used for the death of the this pet, not pet animal, that is the laboratory animal like rat and mice. We are stunning the or pithing the animal. In case of stunning, we are striking the head of the rat and mice over the hard surface, and therefore this is called stunning. Or pithing, we are inserting the pointed probe in the brain, so this is pithing, and this way is mainly for the laboratory animal like rat and mice. So this is all about the physical way of the euthanizing the animal. Now we have to go through the different species. So if you go through the avian or poultry, in most of the species you have to see the one method we are called acceptable method, and second one is the acceptable with condition. So mainly we are using the acceptable method, and if if that one is not available, then we have to go through the other way, acceptable method with condition. So for avian species, or you can say poultry, acceptable method is the intravenous administration of the barbiturate that we have mentioned, and with the condition, acceptable method is using inhalation anesthetic that we have already discussed, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, argon, or we have to go through cervical dislocation or decapitation or gunshot. Regarding cat and dog is concerned, in case of cat and the dog, we are giving the barbiturate intravenously as well as injected anesthetic overdose. So this is the acceptable method for both cat and dog, the either IV injection of barbiturate or injectable anesthetic overdose. Other than this acceptable method with the condition, you have to use barbiturate alternative route of administration. Also, you have to use the overdose of inhaled anesthesia, and you have to use the gases like the carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, or you have to use the physical method gunshot. So this is about the dog and cat. Now we have to go through the other species like cattle, then equine, and also for mainly for these equired and cattle. Again, the acceptable method is the IV administration of the barbiturate for equine or equids, as well as for the cattle, IV administration of the barbiturate. Other than that, acceptable method with condition for both the species cattle and equired is gunshot, penetrative captive bolt. This is for both equids and cattle. Regarding the other species like swine, small ruminants, and small ruminant, we are going to inject the barbiturate in acceptable method for both the swine as well as the small ruminants. And under the acceptable method with condition, we may use the physical method like penetrating captive bolt, gunshot. We have to use both for the swine as well as the small ruminant. Other than that, in case of pig particularly, we may use the gas like the we discussed carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, nitrogen, and argon, and other way of the physical method. So this is about the small ruminant. About the poultry is concerned, we are going to use the injectable barbiturate under the acceptable method, and acceptable method with the condition use of gases or cervical dislocation or other physical means. Under the more thing about the rabbits and the rodents. Rodent, the physical method is we already discussed, that is acceptable method with the condition. We may use the gases carbon dioxide and carbon monoxide. Also, you have to use in inhaled anesthetics and other way of the cervical dislocation, decapitation. And in case of acceptable method for rodent is injecting barbiturate overdose or barbiturate with the other combination or the dissociative agent like ketamine. In case of rabbit, again the IV method of IV administration of barbiturate, and you have to go other way with condition under the acceptable method is using gas or other physical means we have to go in case of rabbit. Now we have to go through the last one is the hematinics. So hematinic we have to discuss in the next class. So this is all about the today class.